All right, let's speak now to Paul Poast. He is an associate professor of political science at the University of Chicago, and he joins me now from Chicago. Professor, how do you think Russia's invasion of Ukraine will play out? What is Putin's end game here?
So it's clear that Putin isn't going to accomplish I think his initial goal, as we can take from his own remarks, was the potential annexation of Ukraine, possibly a first step in recreating the Soviet. I don't think that's happening now, but I think that he is still hoping to achieve one of his more limited aims, which is regime change. And that would allow him to then be able to use Ukraine as a subservient state, similar to how he Belarus. There's also the potential for the territorial gains that was mentioned in one of your previous segments. There's also the possibility of Ukraine offering to promise to never join NATO. Question is, though, is would Ukraine ever accept any of these terms that would be acceptable?
And that's what I'm wondering. Do you think that Putin is underestimated, perhaps, the resistance that the Russian forces would face in Ukraine?
I think he has. The way that I look at it is that the initial campaign was built on what I would call the Crimea model. This is reference to the 2014 invasion of the Crimean Peninsula, where Russian forces were able to go in, didn't even need to fire a shot. They simply acquired the peninsula and then took control of it and annexed it Russia. Now, of course, Ukraine has never officially recognized annexation. I think that their goal, at least initially, was to accomplish the exact same thing, but at scale across a large segment of the country. Hence the reason why there was limited air support used at first. They just simply went across the roads. It was a very similar operation. But of course, that proved to not be the case in terms of it being simple because of the resistance that you're referring to. And because of that, they are now shifting more to a Chechnya model, more to a Syria model, that is the use of more indiscriminate fighting, firing of weapons, that is a more higher lethal use of force, and to be frank, use of force that could be much more deadly to civilians. That is where we're seeing them shift.
What do you think about this oil ban finally from the U.S. on Russian imports? Do you think that'll be a much bigger blow to Russia than the other sanctions we've seen so far?
So this is a significant step that the US is imposing this embargo. Of course, the United States is not as directly dependent on Russian oil as, say, Europe, and that's why this type of step has not yet been fully taken by the European countries. Of course, it doesn't matter who's actually imposing this embargo, it can still affect the world price of oil, and that can have a significant effect on the countries imposing the sanctions. But yes, I do think that this is a significant step because for now, despite all the financial sanctions that are being placed on Russia, as long as they have the ability to sell oil, that can keep them afloat. Question will be, will other countries come on board with this? And then, most importantly, can they sustain it for the long term? And those things, I'm not sure if they can have.
All right, we'll leave it there for now. Paul Post joining us from Chicago. Thank you so much.
Thank you.